For many UK professionals in 2026, squeezed wages and a high cost of living make a second income a strict requirement for basic financial stability. Content creators frequently market these secondary incomes by showcasing top-line revenue. They focus on the money coming in while obscuring the heavy inputs of time and capital required to reach those numbers. This yield gap chart visualizes the disparity. The left bar represents advertised gross revenue. We populate the right bar with actual deductions, software and platform costs, HMRC self-employment taxes, and unbillable administrative hours. The actual hourly net often drops below the national living wage. Once the math is applied, the high yield promise often disappears, leaving you with a return that barely justifies the effort. Generic lists of side hustles fail because they ignore these individual variables. They suggest the same path for a person with £10,000 in savings as they do for someone with 10 spare hours a week. A side hustle achieves a high yield only when the mathematical net return outweighs your specific personal investment of time, capital, and mental bandwidth. To find an opportunity that actually pays, we need a system to separate high-effort traps from scalable models. We'll map these on a matrix. The horizontal axis measures initial friction, the upfront time, capital, or skill required before earning your first pound. The vertical axis is scalability and yield, measuring how income grows without proportionally increasing manual labor. Using this quadrant helps you categorize an opportunity before you commit any resources to it. Success in the 2026 market depends on identifying which specific type of friction you are personally equipped to handle. The first category is the sweat equity hustle, which includes local premium services like high-end vehicle detailing or commercial staging. This model relies on your physical presence. You trade your weekends and evenings to perform manual tasks that others are willing to pay for. This provides immediate cash flow. You complete the work and receive payment, often within the same 24-hour window. These services carry very low financial risk. You can start with basic equipment and zero debt. However, these models have a mathematical ceiling. Your earnings are limited by the number of hours you can physically work in a single day. If you stop moving, the money stops coming in. You cannot decouple your time from your revenue. Over time, layering physical labor on top of a full-time job leads to exhaustion. The risk of burnout is high because the work is never passive. Sweat equity generates an initial bankroll, but lacks the scalability required to build long-term wealth. Category 2 moves us into the high-friction, high-yield SADR. This covers skill-leveraged hustles like niche B2B consulting or AI-driven automation services. The upfront cost here is intellectual. You must spend hundreds of hours mastering a rare skill before you can charge professional rates. This leads to the valley of despair. Your time investment is massive, but revenue stays zero. You work for free, learning skills and pitching clients. Once you survive, yield changes. You command rates exceeding £100 per hour because your skill is rare. These rates generate significant income in a fraction of the time required by standard gig work. The primary hurdle is the timeline. You have to be prepared to work without an invoice being paid for half a year or more. High-yield consulting is only for those with the psychological endurance to withstand the initial uncompensated period. Category 3 is the capital-intensive hustle. This involves acquiring existing digital assets, such as a profitable micro SaaS app or an established subscription newsletter. You use money to bypass the valley of despair. An initial investment of £2,000 to £10,000 acquires an asset already generating revenue. The work shifts from building to auditing. You must perform strict due diligence to ensure the asset's code and customer base are actually stable. If the acquisition is sound, the reward is the decoupling of your time from your income. This creates asynchronous yield. The asset continues to function and earn money regardless of whether you are actively working on it. The trade-off is the risk of total loss. If the market shifts or the technology becomes obsolete, your entire capital investment can disappear overnight. This model requires disposable capital and a high tolerance for financial risk. Capital can buy time, but it also accelerates your exposure to financial failure. Identifying a profitable side hustle requires aligning these models with your existing life constraints. This decision tree helps you find your path. Start by identifying your rarest resource. If you are time poor, meaning you have professional skills and some capital, but zero spare hours, your highest yield comes from asset acquisition or low-volume premium consulting. If you are a bootstrapper with no cash but abundant free time, focus on manual sweat equity services. Use them to build the bankroll you'll need for more scalable models later. If your goal is to exit your current career and you are worried about burnout, focus on skill-leveraged models. The upfront learning curve is steep, but the eventual yield provides the most freedom. Most people fail at side hustles because they choose a business model that clashes with their available resources. Every secondary income has a hidden entry fee. Identify exactly what you are willing to pay in time, money, or effort, and choose your trade-off intentionally.